Yeah, we should be finally live on YouTube. It is very, very windy today. Oh my gosh. This is going to be a great walk for health benefits, for exercise benefits, because there's a lot of wind, lots of resistance. It's a little bit cooler. I'm wearing my jacket today. First time I've worn my jacket since before the summer season started. How's everybody doing today? I do apologize again for the late start. I have a lot going on regarding my business and making some changes like I mentioned yesterday. Plus lots going on in my personal life as I'm waiting for this thing to pop back in. What happened there? It asked me to reconnect and it's still not. I don't know if I'm even live right now. What is going on? What a day. Give me a second, folks. I'm going to shut this app down and come. All right. We should be back live. Fortunately for me, I know how to fix these issues even on mobile. It was the cell tower. I had to shut the YouTube app down, put the phone into airplane mode for about 5 seconds and reset my connection to the tower. Sometimes that just happens. So we're back live. Yeah, it's kind of a gloomy day out here today, but come rain, come shine, you got to get those walks in. And when I wear my jacket, what I don't like is the fact that my wire here scratches up against the zipper and it makes this noise. I'm going to have to try to fix it. It's an annoying noise that gets into the microphone, so I seem to have temporarily fixed it. Hopefully it'll stay that way. How are y'all doing today? Like I said a second ago, before I was cut off by the cell tower and had to restart my phone, or restart my cell connection. Been working on a lot of things professionally, and I've had a lot of these going on personally. But I will tell you this, folks. It's all good stuff. Lots of good stuff is coming. And, I'll inform you folks about the changes as they happen. I started working on some things to place my content elsewhere. I will say this for the time being until it's all situated. My pre-recorded videos are going to be moving elsewhere. They will not be on this channel anymore, or at least for the time being. And there are many reasons why I've decided to do that. I am trying to separate things, and there are some other reasons that are kind of hard to explain. They're more, how do I say this the right way, like tech type of reasons. And so my content, my pre-recorded content is going to be moving somewhere else. And again, I will be announcing all of that in the weeks ahead, as this is all, coming into place. I'm sorry, I'm a little distraught because it's a little chilly and it is very windy, but I will warm up. I will warm up as the walk goes along. I will continue to be doing walking streams on this channel here. And another update, because I've decided to move my content elsewhere, my pre-recorded content elsewhere, I may or may not change the name of this channel. I may leave it as Coach Eli, or I may make a slight variation of it. I'm still kind of pondering that. Again, there are many reasons for these changes, and most of them, to the average everyday YouTube user or content consumer, you aren't really going to understand, so I'm not going to even try to explain. But I'll put it to you this way. It is a strategy, and I've actually learned a lot about how to market myself and how to market on social media over the last 4 to 5 years, being on YouTube and promoting my content elsewhere as well. And so now I'm taking what I've learned, what I've seen other people do, what it's taken them to get more views and subscribers and, you know, more traction even on other platforms. I'm not just talking about YouTube here. I'm talking about leveraging all of social media. I've learned a lot about what works and what doesn't work. So I'll leave it at that for right now. There's not much more to say about it. So I'm just going to get right to the topic of today's show. Welcome to Navigating the Modern World with Coach Eli, the Walking with Purpose live edition, live from the very windy and chilly SF Bay Trail. This is episode number 156. And today I'm going to be discussing It Is What It Is. Learning to accept reality and feel better. One more time. The topic of episode number 156 is It Is What It Is. Learning to accept reality and feel better. Or learn to accept reality. Now the sun's in my eyes. It was kind of dark, so I didn't put on my sunglasses, but I brought them with me. Now it's time to put them on. Jesus, so windy I can't even get them on. Give me a second here, folks. Got to be prepared for every situation, right? That sun just like pierced right through the clouds, and we haven't had any rain, but it's probably going to rain maybe later tonight. It may even rain a little bit on me while I'm out here. That'd be interesting. But the cool thing is the iPhone 12 Pro Max is, they say water resistant. I'll just call it waterproof up to like 30 feet, I believe, or something like that. Which I believe is like 10 meters or something like that. It's like waterproof up to 30 feet. So even if it starts pouring, this thing will still work. A bunch of guys on the trail up ahead, and they're waiting for another person on that has walkers. Give me a second here, folks. All right, folks, I should be back. I just lost the signal again. I had to restart. Well, I had to shut down the YouTube app, put my phone in airplane mode, reset my connection to the cell tower, the 5G cell tower, and then relaunch the YouTube app and resume. I don't know if there's something wrong with the cell towers today, if they're overloaded. apparently, because the weather's not that great, I guess people are staying in or wherever they're at, they're using more bandwidth. So it is what it is. It is what it is. We're just going to deal with it and keep on moving forward. and that's the topic. It is what it is, right? You got to learn to learn to accept things in life. Things that are out of your control, right? I could sit here and complain, oh shit, this is ruining my show. It's splicing it up, especially on the replay. You're going to see cuts, right? But it's out of my control. And most people that watch these streams and are consumers of content and watch the live streams know that these things can happen, right? So I just don't let it get to me. I've learned how to handle these things respectfully, professionally, and maturely. And that's how I want to help you folks learn to handle them as well. I'm also pretty tech savvy, so I figured out what to do in these situations to get myself back online, even on mobile. And if you need help with that, I can help you with that as well. Just reach out to me privately, Coach Eli at coacheli.com. Wow, this is just a crazy, crazy windy day out here. I probably shouldn't be even out here walking today, but I'm a rebel and I want to get my exercise in. At least when it's chilly, I don't get dehydrated as easily until I get my little fanny pack. If I remember to order it soon from Amazon and start carrying some water on me even during these Walking with Purpose streams. So what inspired me to actually do this topic? What inspired me to do this topic today was the woman that I'm seeing. I've been seeing this woman for a little over a month now. And she's been experiencing some things in the workforce that I experienced when I was younger, because I used to do the same thing that she does. I used to be in retail management. I worked in retail management, and retail corporate for almost 17 years in my younger days. And I experienced everything possible that you can experience in the retail world and in the corporate world. It's the same thing. The retail world is a part of the corporate world. But whether it's retail management, or corporate in general, when you work for somebody else, there's always a structure. There are always going to be people above you. And if you happen to get into a management position like this woman is in, she's an assistant store manager, then you have people that you're managing below you. But you still also have people above you, right? And I will tell you this, managing people in general, let alone managing people in retail that are, that are hiring people starting at roughly around minimum wage, if not slightly above minimum wage, it's not the easiest thing to do. It's not. In many cases, your job as a manager is going to be babysitting, right? But it doesn't have to be that way, right? So she, when we talked by phone last night, and good day to you, ma'am, if you're here today. I know you're at work right now, but sometimes you're able to pop on in for a little bit. Last night, she told me when we were talking by phone that one of her key carrying supervisors below her, because there's a store manager where she works at. She's the assistant store manager. And then there's like 2 or 3 key carrying supervisors below her. They're kind of like an assistant store manager, but like an assistant store manager in training. When I used to work for Office Depot, the structure was, they used to call, they had, well, the management structure there went like this. We had floor employees, and then we had specialty employees, like technology employees, the people that would sell technology. And then we had customer service managers, which would run what's known as the front end of the store, where the cash registers are at. So we had customer service managers. And when I had started with Office Depot, after I had left working for Costco for 5.5 years, I got hired at about the same pay I was making at Costco as a customer service manager. But I wanted to work my way up to assistant store manager and store manager. After the customer service manager position, there's a 4th key carrier. A 4th key carrier is typically either a customer service manager, or it could be a logistics employee. Logistics are the people that, unload the trucks and stock the shelves, and they also put price tags and do price changes on the shelves and all that, right? So they called it a 4th key carrier because at Office Depot, they had 1 store manager and 2 assistant store managers at each store. And unless your store made more than $10 million a year in sales, you had 2 assistants. If you made $10 million in sales, you got a 3rd assistant, right? But in most stores, it was 2 assistant store managers. So the key carrying supervisor was known as the 4th key carrier. And that position was created because it was going to allow the store manager and the assistant managers to have some weekends off and not have to always work the crazy schedule. If you had a good 4th key carrier like myself, that was not only at the level of an assistant store manager, I knew the store at the level of a store manager. Like at the store I was at, I loved my boss, he was cool, and the assistants were cool. Whenever they would have to do like an upper management meeting, they could leave for half the day, go somewhere else, and leave me in charge of running the store, and no problem. And my boss, his name was Lewis, just like your name, Lewis Fuller. My boss's name was Lewis, and there were times where I would, we were on cool terms, right? I never complained, so we were on cool terms. I would call him Lou Ass, like Louass, and he didn't like that. Now, you never want to call your superiors something like that or use profanity unless you have a really good relationship with them. You bust your butt and they know you're just joking, because using profanity as a manager, especially to upper managers, could be insubordination, and you could be fired for that on the spot. It's a crazy day out here today. But I will tell you, walking this trail today with the high wind and the clouds, it's a little more difficult. So you have a little more resistance, and you're going to burn more calories. People ask me, Eli, how do you stay healthy and fit for the most part? Well, because come rain, come shine, I get my exercise in. If I have to exercise indoors, I'll do it. I prefer to do it outdoors. But I'll go out there and do a walk in the rain. I've done walking with purpose streams in the rain in the past. I'm sure it'll happen again this year. So, this woman's an assistant store manager. And she has this supervisor, this key carrying supervisor that has been coming in late and has been complaining, I'm not feeling too well, I'm sick, whatever. Like every time that he comes in, especially on the weekends, can I go home? And the woman I'm seeing, that's the assistant manager there, told me, she goes, well, I gave him a piece of my mind. And I'm like, what do you mean you gave him a piece of your mind? Well, I went in the bitch mode. I said, that's not good. I'm going to just refer to her as ma'am, obviously. I'm not going to dox this woman. I'm sure the trolls would like to find out who she is. Here's the funny thing. Even if the trolls found out who this woman is, which they never will, she wouldn't care, because she knows the kind of person I am, and she knows how pathetic and weak and stupid you guys are. That troll, right? But anyway, so she said she went in the bitch mode. And I'm like, what do you mean? What'd you say? Well, I gave him a piece of my mind. And we kind of had this back and forth, and there was swearing involved in all that. I'm like, ma'am, that's unprofessional. I said, you know what? There were times during the days when I was in retail management where I felt like giving a subordinate a piece of my mind, but I always handled it respectfully, professionally, and maturely, because if I didn't, I would lose my job. Because all it takes is one of them to complain to the store manager or to human resources, and boom, that's it, right? Now, I have been talking with her about this for a while because, this is her first experience in retail management. She used to work in a different industry where she was managing people, but it was a completely different industry than retail. There's nothing like retail. No one really wants to work retail. Wow. That is a nice private jet. That is a beaut. Almost sounds like a real, big jet. But that's a pretty big private jet. Not the size of a full, 747 or something like that. But, wow, that sounded nice. All right, we should be back. All right. My apologies, folks. Looks like the 5G network is having some issues out here today for AT&T. So every time my phone goes black, that's the YouTube app telling me it's losing connection to the cell tower. And I have to shut down the YouTube app, go into my settings, turn on airplane mode, wait about 10 seconds, 5 to 10 seconds, turn it off, and then it resets my connection. And then I launch the YouTube app, click on, go live, and then it tells me you have an active stream running. Would you like to cancel? Would you like to end it, or would you like to resume it, right? That's how you do it. But anyway, so I told her, well, let me tell you what happened here. So we talked for an hour or so last night, and she had to work early this morning. And shortly after she got to work, and I got up to start working on my things, she wanted to talk. And I said, are you okay? She goes, it's about what we talked about last night. I said, all right. I was making my coffee. I wanted to grind my beans, and then I told her I'll call her in a little bit. You have some time to talk while you're at work? She said, yeah, it's slow time right now. Called her up, and she said that her store manager called her this morning and told her exactly the same thing that I told her. And what I told her last night is that, you know, you're going to attract you're going to attract more flies with honey than vinegar. She actually mentioned that phrase. She was actually trying to find the words, but I knew what she was talking about when we were on the phone. I said, yeah, you're trying to say you can attract more flies with honey than vinegar. And here's a tip for you guys. When you're dating a woman, you can't sit there and tell her what she wants to hear. You've got to be honest with her. Because she may not like what you say, but she will respect you if you're honest with her, even if it's not what she wants to hear. But you can't help her unless you're honest with her, right? So I told her, I said, yeah, you need to use more honey. You're using a lot of vinegar. You said you're going into bitch mode when you talk to these employees. And, oh yeah, before I tell you what her boss told her, I said, look, you got to be professional with these people. And you have to also get your store manager involved. And she goes, well, my store manager puts that all on me. I'm like, well, it's not fair to put it all on you. You and your store manager need to be on the same page, and it sounds like you're not. I'm like, are you holding these people accountable? You know, if these people are coming in, she got on this guy's case because, you know, he came in late. I think I said that earlier. And he also wanted to go home because he wasn't feeling well, right? And it's not the first time he and other employees below her and the store manager have come in late. And I said, so what are you doing to hold these employees accountable? And she said, nothing. Then what do you expect? And then she had told me that sometimes, you know, she'll come in a little bit late. But she goes, well, I'm the manager and I can do that at times. Well, maybe you can, ma'am, and no disrespect. I'm going to help you through this, if you allow me. Sure, you could probably come in late every now and then, but what kind of an example is that going to show your employees? Your employees are going to duplicate your behavior. And if you're going to hold employees accountable for being late, you got to be on time. If you're going to be late, then them being late is normal, because that's the example you're setting, right? I know you don't want to hear this, but I'm trying to help. And I'm trying to teach everyone else a lesson here. So I said, how many employees have you and your store manager written up regarding this? She goes, none. So you guys are doing jack shit to hold these people accountable, right? Well, my boss expects me to do it all. He's not good at, laying down the law. I'm like, then why is he a store manager? Because when I was a store manager for many different retail establishments, when I used to work retail back in those days, I'm the one that set the law. Well, I was following the company, rules, guidelines, and stuff like that. The company policy is what they call it, right? But I would have regular meetings with my assistant managers and my key carriers. And we would all be on the same page. And we all led by example to the subordinates. So if there were employees that were constantly late, then we would write them up. That's what you're supposed to do. Number one, you got to lead by example. And you can't be making the same mistakes you're trying to penalize the subordinates for, right? So you have to be on time yourself and do your job and have a positive attitude as a manager to set the example. Then, if your employees below you, your subordinates, break the rules, then you got to sit them down and bring in a witness. And you always need to bring in a witness at least at your level or higher. If you're an assistant manager and you need to write up, especially a key carrying supervisor, you need to bring in the store manager or another assistant manager. Since in your store, ma'am, you're the only assistant, you got to get with your store manager when it comes to disciplining key carrying supervisors. Now, when it comes to disciplining non-managerial floor employees, you can write them up, ma'am. Yeah, I'm just using you for example purposes. You can write them up, and then you could bring in a key carrying supervisor as your witness because they are higher ranked than the non-managerial employees. But when it comes to disciplining a key carrying managerial supervisor that's one step below you as assistant manager, you got to bring somebody at your level to witness the write-up session or higher, such as your store manager. So I'm trying to tell her all this last night, and then this morning her store manager calls her and tells her the same thing. And then when we talked on the phone, she was telling me, I can't believe how intuitive you are, how spot on you are with everything you talk about on your YouTube channel and your coaching business. Like, how do you do that? I said, ma'am, I'm nobody special. She goes, well, you're special to me. I'm a humble guy, okay? You know? But the truth of the matter is, it's not really a big deal. I've experienced this. I've experienced a lot in my life. I've made these mistakes. And now when I see other people going through similar things, I can identify them very quickly, and I understand what's going on, even while you're halfway through explaining it. Like, when you are that instinctual and intuitive and you have as much experience as I do, when someone is going through something similar and they start sharing a story, you can pretty much figure out the whole story once they're halfway through telling you. And then you try to tell them, okay, I have enough here, I can tell you. They're like, well, you're not listening to the rest of my story. Well, I understand you're a lady, you want me to listen, I'll listen. I got it, right? But I already understand what you need help with and what you're going through. Well, how do you know? I haven't told you the whole thing because I've been through it. And the beginning of your story is exactly what I'd experienced in my younger days when I was in retail management. Same shit, right? Same thing, right? Okay? It's kind of like on YouTube. If you use copyrighted music, how does YouTube automatically detect that? They have a system called Content ID, right? Let's say you upload Michael Jackson's Thriller, for example, right? If you upload that song, YouTube's Content ID system that's already engaged on their servers has that exact same song. It can detect it, right? It's a similar thing. When I hear somebody start telling me a story and they're about halfway through it, if I've gone through it or know of someone else that's gone through it and have experience in handling that situation, especially if I dealt with it myself, I know exactly what's going on. Now, calm down over here. Yeah, it's probably going to rain tonight. All right, we're back live. Yeah, there's something just, I think the cell tower that my phone is receiving service from is overloaded. That AT&T is just cutting people off every so often. I mean, that can happen at times. So I have to keep putting my phone in airplane mode, shutting down the YouTube app, and relaunching it and re-zooming. Yeah, it's not a big deal. It is what it is. Let's continue. So yeah, her boss told her the same thing. And I was trying to tell her this morning, we're going to talk more tonight. Folks, you can learn a lesson from this. Number one, you got to lead by example. Number two, you have to understand that the people below you are making less money than you, especially if they're floor employees, right? And it's hard to find anyone to work retail nowadays, let alone good people, right? So you got to treat those people the way you'd want to be treated. I'm not saying you have to be buddy-buddy with them as a manager, but you want to be professional. You don't want to use profanity with them. Now, unless you're like in, upper management and like you are, ma'am, and maybe with your store manager, you have a pretty good relationship where you can shoot the shit a little bit, that's okay. Like with my former store manager, Lewis, when I was a fourth key carrier at his Office Depot location many, many years ago, he was putting me on the fast track to get to the assistant manager program. And, we talked like buddies, but he was a hard worker. I was a hard worker. Not only was he a great store manager, he used to be a logistics manager and an operations manager. He did everything. The dude was a great dude. And he knew I was a smart guy that worked as hard as he did. So we got results, right? And when you get results and things run smooth, you can talk like that. I would call my store manager Lou Ass, like I said earlier. Louass, right? Now, him and the assistant store managers, they would kind of tease me a little bit, right? Which is fine, right? But you're not always going to establish relationships like that, and especially with people that you are with people you need to discipline, right? When it comes to disciplining subordinates, right? Okay? If you approach them in a way where you're kind of attacking them and you're giving them a piece of your mind and you're using foul language and stuff like that, and they're wrong for being late to work. They're wrong for being late to work. They're wrong for asking to go home all the time as a key carrying manager, especially on the weekends. They want to, leave because it's the weekend, so they try to pretend to be sick. They're wrong for that. But when you are using foul language and attacking them and getting in their face, if you have to fire these people, all it's going to take is one of those people to say, I quit because this is what my manager told me. She was swearing at me. I felt, I felt like it was an unfair work environment. And that's what I'm trying to teach you, ma'am, and teach other people before it's too late. Now, I also told her, I said, give me a second here. I also told her that you're very lucky that you are female. Let me just zip this up because that's probably going to stop the microphone from rubbing on the zipper of my jacket and making that annoying sound. All right, there we go. That's a lot better. I also told her that you're very lucky that you're female and it was a male employee. Because let me tell you something. If it was me, and I told her this, I'll say this again. This is where women have the upper hand nowadays, guys, and it's not fair, but there's tolerance for it because women are emotional beings, and women have risen up, and trust me, you don't want to deal with an HR issue as a man that involves a woman. You're going to lose every time, even if you're right. So you just want to avoid those situations at all costs, right? Because there are a lot of women that will play the system knowing that they're crappy workers, right? And then you have to discipline them, and if you discipline them the wrong way or you say something you shouldn't, and then you fire them, they're going to try to keep their job by going to HR and saying, well, we felt like harassed and, blah, blah, blah by this manager, right? And they're going to win every time, right? So the fact that, you're female, ma'am, is why you still have a job. Because more than likely guys are just not going to do anything about it. Right? They're just going to leave. And even if guys try to do something about it, HR doesn't care. They don't. They only care when it's a female employee calling HR and saying they were harassed or sexually harassed or something like that. Right? So so you pretty much are getting a free pass on this. And I'm not saying that what you were doing was intentionally wrong. You're trying to do the right thing, but you're letting your frustrations get to you and you're taking it out on your employees instead of leading by example, having the support of your store manager to lead by example, setting the ground rules for the employees, and then holding them accountable. In order to hold them accountable, like I said earlier, you have to be on time every time, and so does the store manager. You and the store manager have to do everything pretty much perfect if you want to lay down the law. And even if you do everything perfect, you and the store manager, when your supervisors, key carrying supervisors, and employees violate the rules you set, right? Like you had told me that your store manager was saying, if you folks are late, we're going to write you up or we're going to fire you or whatever, right? And then people keep on being late. And when I asked you how many of them you written up, none. Okay, if you're not holding them accountable, then why create the rules, right? You got to create the rules or follow the company policy and hold these people accountable. You write them up. Okay? Now, if you're in a situation like this, because when I first started in management, I was in a similar situation, but it wasn't exactly the same. I was in a similar situation, and I learned my lesson from it, right? How do you turn things around? How do you get people to start respecting you in the ways you want to be respected? Well, let me go down the observation deck. I'm glad I put my jacket on. I would be literally freezing if I didn't have my jacket on. So I told her on the phone earlier, and this is the right thing to do if you're in this situation. I told her for the rest of the day, be nice to all your employees and all the customers. Don't let anyone trigger you. Okay? Don't let anyone ever trigger you again. No matter what happens, right? And when your store manager, the next time you see him, you sit down with him or even set up a time where you and him can go and have lunch for an hour outside of the building and have one of your key carrying supervisors watch the store. And you go and talk about this with him and say, I need your help to discipline these employees. I can't do this on my own because, of what's been happening. I can't discipline supervisors that are one level below me without having a witness there, at least at my level or higher, and you're the only other person that can witness this. So he needs to step in, man. So next time you see him, talk to him, say, let's schedule a time, and you could do this on the clock. This is business. You could do this on the clock. And you could probably expense it to the store. We used to call that petty cash. We were allowed to expense a certain amount to incentivize the employees, buy them lunch every now and then, pizzas, whatever. And I know you've done that as well too. Or business meetings with upper management, right? You need to get one of these meetings going with your store manager. And you got to get on the same page or it's never going to change. And if it never changes, you told me now you have a new regional vice president or district manager, whatever it is, that came into your store and actually was satisfied when he came in your store, right? Well, if he finds out what's really going on, starts getting a bunch of complaints, talking to the employees, or if you keep losing a lot of employees because of the way you and your store manager are managing the place, they're gonna come and say, hey, what's going on here? What the hell is going on here? You're the manager, you're the assistant manager. Why do you have such a high turnover rate, right? We talked about that too. Turnover rate's important because it costs money to hire employees, running background checks and all that stuff, right? And turnover rate can and will affect your bonus. Anything that costs the store money affects your bonus. That's why the bonus is there. It's to incentivize you, the managers, to do the right thing the first time around as best as possible. Right? Now, as far as these employees not wanting to work, you have young kids nowadays in their early 20s. When I was in my early 20s, I was working for Costco. I was busting my butt. And after I left Costco in my mid-20s, I started getting into management and upper management in other companies. So by the time I was the age of your supervisors that still haven't learned responsibility, I was in upper management. And I had great work ethic. But I also worked for managers that held me accountable and held everyone else accountable. That's very, very important. It's even more important nowadays because all these kids nowadays, these millennials and post-millennials, they're being raised differently. And, they have a hard time being responsible because of the way they were raised by their parents, not teaching them that, right? So it's even more important that in the workforce, you hold these people more accountable. And if you have to fire them, you write them up 3 times for the same thing. If you have to fire them, then they're going to learn their lesson. Because the next job they go to, if they do the same thing, they're going to be fired, right? And if they don't work and have money to pay their bills, they're going to be on the street, right? When I worked in retail and retail management, the phrase "it is what it is" came up many times. There's a lot of politics there, right? There's a lot of politics, favoritism. That happens everywhere nowadays. If you want to survive in the corporate world, whether it's retail, retail management, retail corporate, or any other, corporate environment, right? If you want to survive and not lose your job, you got to keep your mouth shut, and you got to do your job, and you got to be professional, respectful, and mature. Now, ma'am, I know you're probably listening to this, or you'll hear it at some point. I don't want you to be upset. We will talk tonight. I've got your back. I'm going to help you through this, because you're not the only one in this position that's going through this. Give me a second here. I could probably take my shades off right now, but it's okay. I can still see. I'm wondering. Let me take off my shades. Give me a second here. Hopefully the connection will stay stable. Make sure I put them in my pocket and zip it up. I'm smelling some kind of food or barbecue coming from somewhere because it's so windy. That's probably coming from a restaurant that's a mile away. I'm smelling some really, really good food. And there's literally no restaurant in sight. Look, this is all the wetlands here. It's probably coming from down that way. Probably almost a mile away. The sun is out, it's just being blocked by the clouds. And there aren't a whole lot of clouds, but they're there. The rainy season's on its way even to the San Francisco Bay Area. It is what it is. Like I said, common phrase. Now, just because I understand this very well at age 47, almost 48, doesn't mean that I always understood it. The reason why I understand this stuff, ma'am, and anyone else that's learning from this today, is because I made these mistakes myself. everything that I practically teach nowadays and talk about, I made a mistake at it the first time, maybe even the second or third time. Then I learned my lesson. And when I was finally able to own it was when I said it is what it is. I learned to accept it, that it is what it is. And I was able to, move past it. And just a second here. I was able to move past it and be content and be at peace with it, right? And I was able to be happy and positive again. One thing that this woman I've been seeing, told me, I mentioned this the other day, I'll say it again. This was after the Giants lost Game 5 of the divisional series to the Dodgers. Hats off to the Braves. You're going to take the Dodgers, right? Anyway, she goes, "Why are you so calm?" I said, "Because I'm getting older, wiser, and I don't want to waste any more of my energy in a negative way. I want to harness as much energy in a positive way and run this business to help other people learn this stuff a lot quicker than I did. Yeah, there were some bad calls, but the Giants would have probably still lost anyway, right? It was a good series. It was a good game. And better luck next year. I used to get triggered when the Giants would lose in the playoffs in the past. But they've won many years too, right? We've had great years, and we've had some years where we lost, and it was frustrating. And I used to get triggered. I used to get triggered out here on YouTube, ma'am. I used to get triggered in many aspects of my life. And then I just realized it's not worth it. As I started to get older and started to realize that there's no benefit in getting triggered or reacting or overreacting, I accept things. It is what it is. And some things are just not meant to be. If things aren't meant to be, if certain things aren't meant to be, then it is what it is. I'm one that believes in fate. I'm one that believes in karma. I'm one that believes if things are meant to be, they'll just happen. I'm not talking about relationships and stuff like that. I mean, that's true as well. But any aspect of life, business or personal, if it's meant to be, it's meant to be. And if it's not, it just won't happen. If things are meant to be, folks, they're typically going to happen very quickly. I've said this before, I'll say it again, especially when it comes to dating relationships between men and women. You have all these people on Reddit and other forums, other guys saying, well, I swiped right, she swiped right. We started chatting, and she gave me her number, and I texted her, and she takes forever to get back. Like, she'll send me like one text every 2 days or every day. Is she interested? She's very slightly interested. She's got interest in someone else, and she's texting back right away. You're not the main one. Don't focus on women like that. A lot of guys don't get that, right? They don't understand it. And a long time ago, before I started to realize how things are and how just people, women and men are, especially nowadays in the modern dating world with dating apps and dating sites, I used to not understand it either, but now I get it. I look back at the history of relationships that have worked for me, whether I met the woman online or offline. And the ones that worked, it took off right away. The very first night we were making out, or there was some kind of physical, not necessarily sex. Sometimes it happened the first time, but usually the second time. But there was some kind of making out or something, right? If a woman is really into you guys, it's going to happen right away or it'll never happen at all. And that starts from the communication on the dating app, dating site. You'll exchange numbers, you'll text, she'll get back to you right away. Women that are into you will get back to you right away. Now you guys don't need to get back to a woman right away. You can at times if you want, but you never want to respond. You never want to double text. You want to leave them a message and wait for them to leave you one back. Coach Corey Wayne calls that like a game of tennis. You hit the ball over the net, you wait for her to hit the ball back, right? Right? So if you hit the ball over the net and it goes a couple days without you hearing from her, you don't keep texting her, did you get my text? Did you get my text? Did you get my text? You don't turn on the automatic tennis ball machine and rapid fire tennis balls at her. Because that's going to get you immediately ghosted. If you already haven't been ghosted, in some cases, maybe she's talking to somebody else that she made a connection with and no longer wants to talk with you or anyone else. And nowadays, it's become pretty common knowledge that people ghost, right? It is what it is. I'm trying to get you guys and gals to understand that. I'm trying to get you guys and gals to understand that if things are meant to be personally and professionally in your business world and in your personal life, they will happen right away. It'll just happen, right? Been really enjoying doing these walks lately. Interesting that the same couple that came back from the observation deck, I don't know if they walk halfway and then walk back a couple times. Everyone has their own routine, right? I just felt a couple drops of rain. Oh boy. Oh well. We're prepared. Got my hoodie, my jacket, and like I said, the iPhone is water resistant, waterproof, water resistant up to 30 feet. It's all good. Hey, at least the cell tower's been working fine. Watch now, I jinx it. Now it goes off the air, right? I have to reset it again. I think we're fine now. We're gonna be fine. Wow, lots of lights on that plane. That's a beaut. That's a beaut. Oh yeah. Where's everybody today? That's all right. You know, I'm not going to sit here and worry about people being here or not. I'll tell you something, folks. I enjoy doing these shows, even if I can help just one person. Let's just talk about you, ma'am, the woman I've been seeing. Even if I can just help you through this, it makes me feel good. It makes me feel accomplished. And you know, I used to make a big deal out of low turnouts and my moderators not showing up and stuff like that. Sure, you're going to be curious every now and then. And I know some of my moderators behind the scenes, like Queen takes weekends off usually. And some other people are going through some things. I'm not going to mention names. I want to respect their privacy. but I know some people are going through some things, and if you folks watch this on the replay and you need my help, if I had to guess, one of my mods is probably going through a breakup right now. I'm not going to mention a name, and this person didn't say exactly what they're going through in the private chat behind the scenes, but trust me, whenever someone says I'm going through something right now and I've been around, it typically has to do with a breakup. That intuitive. So dude, it's a guy. I have half women, half men, so good luck trying to figure out who it is. But dude, if you want to talk privately later tonight or tomorrow, if that's what you're going through or whatever else you're going through, I'd be happy to help you free of charge. You're my moderator. You're one of my mods. You're a good friend. I respect you. I've been through it, man. It sucks. It sucks when you really care about someone and you spend a lot of time with them, even 6 months or 8 months, right? Sex is good. Conversations are good, right? And you as a man start to open up your emotions more. Like I'm open emotionally, but whenever I'm dating somebody new, I kind of will hold off a little while, maybe 3 to 6 months. Ma'am, you can pay attention to this. This is just how I am in general. I'll kind of hold off a bit before I really start letting, feelings go. I'm not saying I don't like this woman and care for her well-being and care for her. I do. But I typically will wait about 6 months or so, 3 to 6 months before really starting to share some feelings, because you never know what can happen. Things change. People change. I'm not saying you're going to change, ma'am, but things just happen, right? For men, even us strong men that are open emotionally and typically have no problem sharing our feelings, because of what's happened to dating in the modern, because of what's happened regarding dating in the modern world, which is what I'm trying to say, it takes a little longer to do it because we just don't want to go through the pain of being dumped or cheated on or whatever shortly after we share our feelings, right? It's really funny how when you're dating a woman, in many cases, okay, the more of a mystery you are, the less you express your feelings. Like you have to express your feelings to a certain extent, but if you don't completely come all out and tell the woman you love her all day, every day, this and that, right? Once you come out and you do that, which is what she thinks she wants, next thing you know, it starts going sideways. And why is that? It's something that women don't understand and doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me either, but I've learned to understand it to as best as possible. Women want to wonder about you. When women wonder about you, they're more curious, they're thinking about you, right? Once you give them everything, what more do they have to wonder about, right? They're going to get bored. I'm not saying you're going to get bored, ma'am, but I'd rather not take that chance. I know exactly what I'm doing. So to this guy behind the scenes, that I'm assuming, sir, you're going through a breakup, I feel you, man. I feel you. But dude, if that's what you're going through, you know what? Take it with a grain of salt. Look at it in the way that I look at it nowadays. And look at it in the way regarding the title of this stream. It is what it is. Just wasn't meant to be. If it was meant to be, and let's say she did break up with you or cheated on you, was meant to be, this wouldn't have happened, right? And if this happens early on, 6 to 8 months into a relationship, right? And you're still a young dude, right? I'm not gonna say exactly your age or anything because I don't want people to try to figure out who you are. You got plenty of time, man. And as sad as this may sound to say it and hear it, if she left you or cheated on you, she did you a favor because she really wasn't that into you in the first place. You were like a placeholder. We've all been the placeholder before, bro. And it sucks. But don't let that stop you from putting yourself right back out there. You're a good-looking dude. And you're a good dude. And there are other women out there that are going to like you and find you attractive. Now, I don't know what your woman looked like. Maybe she was super hot. The super hot women, they let it get to their head because their value is overly inflated by the thirsty beta males. You know that, right? But dude, I'll tell you this. Even if you lower your standards a bit, let's say you're a guy that's a 7 or an 8 or a 9 on the attraction scale 1 to 10. If you find a woman that's like a 6 or a 7 average looking, but has a heart of gold and will be loyal and faithful to you, I would suggest that over going over the hot chicks. There are some Reddit postings regarding this. And I'm going to be doing some pre-recorded videos regarding this and many other topics, but they're not going to happen on this channel, at least not right now or for a while. Like I mentioned at the beginning of this stream, I'm moving my pre-recorded videos elsewhere. And I'll share more about that down the road at the right time. But yeah, put yourself back out there, bro. Get on a dating app or dating site. But don't go to Tinder. Don't go to the hookup sites, dude. Even if you want to hook up, dude, I wouldn't go to the hookup sites. I'd go like to Match.com or maybe possibly OkCupid. But Match.com is probably the best. Maybe try Hinge. Bumble may be okay. But Match.com will probably be the best if you're looking for something real. And then maybe a close second will be like eHarmony. Put yourself back out there, dude. And, just be open and honest. Be open and honest with the women. Tell them, yeah, I just I got out of a relationship. I feel fine. I've moved on. Even if you haven't, dude, you got to get back on that horse. That's the way to work past it and move ahead. And you'll find someone better, dude. Like Coach Corey Wayne used to say, if a woman tries to friend zone you, maybe she tried to friend zone you, dude. Don't accept friendship. We could be friends. Well, in that case, you got to say, I'm not interested in being just friends. She may say, why? Well, because I think you're hot. I enjoyed the time we had. We're great. We have great loving. And I want something romantic. I'm not looking for something platonic. But, hey, if you want to change the terms of our relationship from romantic to friendship, I'm going to let you go. I'm going to accept that and respect that, but give me a call if you change your mind. And then you turn, you walk away, and you never look back. You never call her, you never text her, you never email her. You don't like her Instagram or Facebook or any other social media. This is the problem with many guys nowadays. They just can't move on, right? That's not masculine energy. Not being able to move on is feminine energy. It's way more normal for women to feel that way than men. It's not normal for men to not be able to remove that attachment. But it's become harder in the modern world because of the way things are, because the modern world's tried to more so feminize men nowadays and has tried to make women more masculine. It's like it's flipped. You know what I'm saying? It's absolutely beautiful. It is a beautiful evening out here. I'm actually really enjoying the walk in this type of weather, to be honest with you. I haven't missed a day walking in probably almost 2 weeks now. And I've been coming to this trail a lot. I'm gonna probably go to a different trail tomorrow. Now, folks, I may be taking Tuesday off. I may be taking Tuesday off and tomorrow night off. I'll probably just do a walk tomorrow and not create any other content anywhere else, even on the other platforms that I'm going to be creating content on, because this lady has she has I believe Tuesday and Wednesday off. But I believe she said she has like a hair appointment on Wednesday. So, and if you're listening, this will probably make you happy. I'll probably come down to your area and I'll probably book us a nice room. The thing is, she lives like about an hour away from me. That's why we have to do it like this for now. We'll figure it out. Probably get a room and maybe do dinner. And then we could spend most of Tuesday. Maybe we could go do some sightseeing and go explore some areas near your area. I'm sure there are some things you could show me in your area, even though I've been out there in the past. I'm sure you can show me some things I've never seen. I'd be curious to do that. I bet she's smiling now because, I'm taking her thoughts and feelings into consideration. Right? I'm being a cool dude. I'm brainstorming. I'm coming up with I'm being a fucking man. I'm taking the lead and I'm suggesting. And here's the thing. It's not about being a jerk and saying, hey, woman, we're going to do this next couple days. No, it's not about that. That's an arrogant, pompous ass jerk. It's about making suggestions. Most of the time I made suggestions, if not all the time, the woman typically will agree. Because most other guys that she's been with, they don't even know how to carry a conversation, let alone make plans and be a leader and take her out on the real date, right? So yeah, I'm probably going to take Tuesday off. Probably won't be able to get a walk in, but I'll be back on Wednesday. And by Wednesday, I'm going to, I may have some more updates regarding my future pre-recorded content. Like I said, it's gonna continue. It's gonna move on, but it's gonna be elsewhere, not here. We are at 1 hour and 16 minutes. Please smash that thumbs up, like, share, subscribe, bang the bell, select all notifications. for the last 20 minutes or so of the stream, because I'm probably going to go to the other side. I've been walking pretty quickly, actually. I've stopped a few times, but I've done about 3 miles in just over 20 minutes a mile. Typically I can walk on a flat surface anywhere from 17 to 20 minute miles. But when you're doing the live streams, you're going to stop and show the scenery, go to the observation deck, yada, yada, yada. I'm a pretty fast walker, but I've been around some people, especially some women I've dated in the past. I think women just have like the way their legs are made, they're made to take longer strides. Like women walk very, very fast. I guess that's where the line where guys say, I like a woman that has long legs. Yeah, those long legs can take big ass strides. And when you're trying to walk at a leisurely pace with a woman because of her longer legs with the longer strides, it seems like she's almost like running instead of just walking. Anyway. Look at the sky, folks. This would be a nice night to take some pictures with my Sony a6400. It's a beautiful night. And if you look over there, where there aren't any clouds, it's sunny. But this is almost kind of like, walking through a movie set. It's like being in a movie. It's really cool. Like, look at this. If you look at, the observation deck from the other side's over there. If you pan over here and you look at these transmission lines, if you look at the fog, right? The clouds and the fog, right? What a beautiful shot this would be, huh? Let's keep going. Yeah, for the last part of this stream, 15-20 minutes more or so, I want to say that, hey, there's a lot of great stuff coming. Lots of good changes, and you folks are going to see things that you never thought could be possible. And it's going to surprise a lot of people. I'll put it to you that way. I've been planning to do these things for quite some time, and I've been kind of tweaking at these ideas for quite some time, and trying to figure out the right time to execute these ideas and where to execute them at, and etc., right? There's a lot of precision involved. And what you're going to see from me regarding my content starting this coming week. So that's all I'm going to say right now. Keep you folks in a little bit of suspense, right? I can feel a little mist coming down, like it may even start to rain, at least in this area where the clouds are at. Like if I just do this, you can see me with the clouds up there. Isn't that pretty cool? Look at that. transmission lines behind me. Pretty cool, huh? I love cinematography. I would love to actually create some more cinematic type of videos in 4K 60 frames per second and do some editing and give you folks some really cool stuff. But right now, I just don't have the audience for that, and it would be way too much work for little to zero return. It's starting to rain. All right, I'm not gonna go over here. All right, we should be back live. We should be back live. It was starting to come down. Did it stop? I think these clouds are just passing by. I mean, I think I'll be okay if I go. I just don't want to go out there even a quarter mile with my equipment, even though it's pretty much waterproof. I just don't want to even take a chance. So we're going to wrap this up, folks. I'm going to make an executive decision and end this right now. Did 3 miles. We're all good. Yeah, it's starting to rain. First rain I've seen in quite some time. It's smelling pretty nice. I love how the rain just freshens up the air, clears the air, cleans it up. Don't like really driving in the rain, but hey, we need the rain. Now it's going to start to come down. I came at the right time. I hope you folks can see me okay. I think the camera's still good. But yeah, it's starting to get a little wet here. All right, folks, get your questions, comments, concerns in the chat. Going to be going off the air in just a few minutes. Oh, man. It does smell good. It smells really good. That first rain. And you know what else I like about the rain? I don't like driving in the rain, but I like everything else about it. I love sleeping when it's raining. There's a difference in the atmosphere. The air is cleaner. Plus, hearing that natural rain noise is amazing for helping you fall asleep. Nothing better than that. A lot of people like to use those alarm clocks that have the nature sounds, right? The pre-recorded fake nature sounds. And those can work okay, but nothing works as well as the real deal. I've got screen protectors on this thing. I've got, plastic case around it. My phone is well protected. American Dream with the $1 super chat. Well, it looks like, it's one. How you doing, Dream? How's it going, brother? Thank you for popping in at the last minute. I'm about to go off the air. But I can stay on a few minutes longer. I may just sit in my car and do it. Because it is starting to rain. Or maybe I can find an overhang somewhere over here. Hello, my brother. I was supposed to work tonight, but I got canceled. That sucks, man. Do you get sick days, Dream, working your job? Hi, Lewis. Hello, everyone. I think you're the only one here, Dream. You're the only one that showed up. And I've been on for an hour and 26 minutes, bro. I appreciate you being here, man. Appreciate you being here. It means a lot. Let me, oh yeah, it is going to start to come down. I'm gonna go sit in my car and see what you're up to, Dream, and get out of the rain. I'm gonna have to. Let's do this. Oh Jesus! It is starting to come down. What's going on, man? I dropped my other phone in the water last night getting ready for work, and it's still, because they're waterproof, Dream. You have the new Samsung or iPhone. Like ever since I think the iPhone 10 or 11, I think since the 10, they started to waterproof or make them water resistant, right? But yeah, Samsung, yeah, and Apple does the same thing. You can go like up to like 30 feet. I think it's 10 meters, 30 feet of water. You could drop these in the toilet, bro, and they'll still work. It's ridiculous. You know what I mean? Yeah, but I wouldn't advise doing it. But on my iPhone 12 Pro Max Dream, I have um, I have a screen protector on it, a clear screen protector, which protects it from breaking, even though it has Gorilla Glass 6, which is almost indestructible, right? Not quite, but very, very durable glass. And then I put a screen protector on top of that. And then I have a spec clear carrying case that protects the back and the sides, right? So my phone is like, it's like a tank, and it looks nice too, right? So I'm not concerned. I mean, I could have probably walked out in the rain and still done this show, and the phone would be fine. But then you can't see the damn screen. The camera's going to get fogged up, and it's just not going to look good, right? But it's amazing what these phones can do nowadays, right, brother? Coach, breaking news. The iPhone 13 will potentially have satellite communications. Apple and Global Star in the works of a partnership, meaning if there's no cell towers, it doesn't matter. Well, it did not come out on the 13. It may come out on the 14 or the 15, Dream. I've heard about that. You're talking about sat phones, right? So, no, the iPhone 13 came out like almost, I think, a month ago or so. Um, so I've had this phone for like a year now. And they have a better modem in it, and it's a little bit faster than the 12 Pro Max and the other 12s. The 13s are, all the 13s are a little faster than the 12s, but they're pretty much the same thing. The difference is the 13s finally got 120 hertz refresh on the display like your Samsung already has. It's a little smoother scrolling, better modem and stuff like that, but you know, it's not that big of a deal. But yeah, they're gonna have sat phone capability in all cell phones. At some point, you know, at some point, I mean, everything's gonna run from the satellite. The only problem running shit from the satellite, Dream, is there's a lot of latency because you have to go all the way up to the moon, all the way up into, however far the satellites are. They're like what? You know, thousands of miles up high, right? And then it has to go up and bounce back down. So it creates some latency. That's why for people that have satellite internet, like, HughesNet and stuff like that, there's like a 500 millisecond latency. Yeah, 8,000 miles up. Yeah. Yeah, and even though the speed of light travels at 186,000 miles per second, when it comes to the internet, it works a little bit differently because you have to shoot it up and it has to, read it at the satellite and then shoot it back down. It's two-way. So, I mean, sat phones will be cool, but I don't think they're ever going to replace cell phones. I think it'll be just for emergency usage only, and it's probably going to cost a fortune when you have to use it. Or who knows? They might make a deal with the satellite, providers, right? Or they might launch their own satellites, right? I wouldn't be surprised if AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile and the rest of the carriers, they launched their own satellites. Then, oh man, we could be out in the woods. If they add internet to that as well, we could have internet out in the woods, in the deep woods, right? Then we'd never disconnect, right? We'd be more fucked up than we already are, right, Dream? You know what I'm saying? Folks, yeah, get your questions, comments, and concerns in the chat. My screen is a little bit wet, and so I'm having a hard time scrolling. I can fix that right now. I've got this. Give me a second here. I think that helped a little bit. Fix the camera. Or clean up the camera a little bit, right? All right, folks, I'm going to get on out of here unless you have anything else to say, Dream. It's always a pleasure. Dream, why were you timed out? Oh, shit, Dream. Dream, I must have timed you out by mistake when I was cleaning my screen. I'm so sorry, Dream. It deleted all your messages. I timed you out by mistake, brother. When I was clearing the screen, it went over your name and then it hit timeout. I'm so sorry, dude. Oh, Jesus. I would never time you out, Dream. That happened by mistake, brother. But thank you so much for being here. Thank you for your $1 super chat. I greatly appreciate it. Folks, I'm going to get on out of here and going to go home and enjoy the rest of the night. I'm going to, grab something to eat maybe along the way home or cook. I don't know. But there's a lot more coming soon. It's really hard to look in the camera when you're holding a selfie stick. You kind of look like your eyes are all over the place. So, you know, don't frown on me for that, folks. I'm doing the best I can with what I've got here. But yeah, I'm gonna go home and continue working on this transition. Lots of good stuff coming, folks, and it's gonna surprise a lot of people. I'll put it to you that way. There are some big surprises coming that I'll say are unexpected, but they're not bad. They're not bad surprises. They're good surprises. And I'm almost thinking about waiting here another couple of minutes to see if Dream comes back. But I'm gonna wrap it up, folks. Got rained out for the last part of my my walk. We'll see what happens tomorrow. All right, have yourselves a great one. We'll see you all next time. Tomorrow I'll be doing a walking with stream at some point, and then taking the night off, and then Tuesday off as well. For the most part, I think that's what I'm going to be doing. Be hanging out with this wonderful lady I've been hanging out with for over a month now. Have a good time, right? All right, folks, take care. We're out. Bye-bye. Peace out. Be safe.